Welcome back to Breakfast with Jerm. I'm in my apartamento on Old Kentucky Avenue in beautiful Lakeland, Florida. It's a lovely fall day. The time has fallen back. It is breakfast time. 9:32 on the clockometer. I've got the dishwasher running here in my kitchen, so it might be a little noisy. Am I blowing? I don't even know if you could hear me. Use your magic ball. This imaginary ball. Rock that imaginary ball. Good morning. When I worked at Starbucks, I would answer the drive-thru like that. Good morning and welcome to Starbucks at 6:30 in the morning for people. And we had a camera on the menu board so I could see their faces, their reactions. That was fun. That was a fun time. As fun as time as you can have working at a Starbucks drive-thru on South Dixie Highway in Miami, Florida in the late 2000s, the late aughts. I ought to tell you more about that time because it was wild. The boomerangers, Xennials, were called boomerang generation because so many of us went to college and then ended up living back at home or living with friends or living in other relationships. A lot of people lived it with their parents and were still on their parents' insurance till they were like 26 or 27 back then. I actually kind of feel bad for kids, for the Xennial, the Gen Zs, the Zoomers, having to get on their own insurance, get their own jobs at 21. Man, how did life get so harsh? Well, I think we all know the answer to that, so there's no sense in talking about it. Not belaboring points here. I am just having breakfast. And I got donuts. And I wanted to talk about the new font. Do you like it? I think it needs to be a little bigger, though. Labor Day. Subtitle. Yes, I don't want to be on camera eating these donuts because I'm about to make a mess. You're just gonna hear the Cookie Monster eating sounds. You know, that sort of thing. Take a look at that. The lighting in here is terrible. The sandy beach delicious donut. It's like a sandy beach in your mouth. A sandy beach made of sugar, powdered sugar. Speaking of powdered sugar, I also got a raspberry jelly-filled powdered sugar donut. I'm going to save that one for a little later. What did I want to talk about today? Oh yes, the first season of Breakfast with Jerm. Because this is the last episode officially of season 1. I'm going to take a holiday break. Going to do some show development for season 2. In the meantime, when I feel like going live, if I'm here in the apartment, I will turn on, I'm going to do Jerm's apartment on Twitch TV. So follow me on Twitch TV/neonowlnet, I think. Let me double check that. Let's get some screen sharing so you can see too. JCV World on Patreon is now neonowl.net too. But I'll talk about that in a minute. Twitch TV neonowlnet is me. Side Quest Thursday. I am Jerm from neonowl.net. This is my apartment. So last week, this is Jerm. Almost 1 week ago, Thursday is my laundry day. So it was my laundry day. I went live on Twitch TV for my apartment. I'm calling it Jerm's Apartment. So follow me on Twitch TV. I'm going to put that in the... Actually, I'm going to do that right now. Parlor Doughnuts. Nuts. This needs an emoji. A donut. Close. Good guess. But I just want a heart emoji. 2 hearts for Parlor Doughnuts. Okay, there we go. I streamed for almost an hour. I will get the transcript of that. I think I put that... No, I didn't put that on YouTube yet, did I? Okay, so tomorrow I'll probably, I think I'll do it tomorrow. I'll just stick to the Thursday theme. I'm going to share this to YouTube. Because in the beginning I say it's Side Quest Thursday, so it makes sense to export it to YouTube on a Thursday. So when people see it and see the timestamp, it's a week later from when I filmed it. That's Side Quest Thursday. So anyway, this is Jerm's apartment on Twitch TV. What's links? What's this? Linktree. Oh, I forgot I had this. Totally forgot about this. This Linktree. Need troubleshooting help? People could have been hiring me all along for low rates. Low rates. These are really low. This is the basically when I worked at Apple, this was like the enterprise per incident support price. You know, just to talk to somebody to find out what your problem is, $50. This is when you called Apple, mind you. You called Apple Enterprise Support. If you wanted to, well, analysis of alternatives means like basically there's no. This would be beyond tech support. It would be like $150 or $200 to per issue troubleshooting. So that's what I was thinking at the time when I set this Square site up that I completely forgot about. That was a long time ago. And I got the correct address here. It's the address of Cohatch. Maybe I should maybe I should use this. I need to raise my rates though a little bit. I think I'm just going to do an hourly rate to talk to me. Talk to me. How can I help? Ask me anything. $66 an hour. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, so this is my Cash App. If you just want to give me money, here it is. I will gratefully accept any and all donations. So yeah, this is neonowl. This is my web presence consolidated down to just the neonowl brand. Because as I think I've said before, YouTube, when I put in my name on YouTube, I just type neonowl.net. And YouTube has that as my brand on my account page. So that's like my official brand name, and I can't change it. Neonowl.net is my brand. But I have neonowl.net, and I'm going to use it again. Make sure you write .net, not .nes, okay? But I'm just rambling, but yeah, this is the basically this is the celebration of this is the season 1 finale right here. So I'm sort of like going back through, trying to think about what other stuff I've talked about. Of course, I have my full transcript in Lex. I don't think I have finished uploading. The last episode on the transcript is October 4th. So I haven't, anything I streamed after October 4th, I haven't got the transcript of yet. To have AI talk to me about it or ask questions about what was I talking about? I had good luck. I had some success with asking it about stories I started but didn't finish. That gave me a lot of brainstorming material. But anyways, hey, you know what? I'm going to use my note box, my newest note box. I don't know if I've mentioned this before on a stream or not. I think this might have been what I was talking about on my Twitch live stream that I'm going to export to YouTube tomorrow. My Getting Things Done box. I had this 3x5 inch note card box and several hundred 3x5 inch note cards. Even have these color-coded tabs that you can also write on. It's just sweet. This is like my Pokeball or my Pokédex or whatever. You know, I never got into Pokemon. Never got into collecting cards because I didn't have any kind of money to buy cards regularly. I basically would like get a cards, and then that would be all the cards I have. And I would just look at the same cards over and over, being like, wow, I wonder what other cards are out there. And then I would start meeting other people with card collections who had like entire bins full. They had to like wheel it around in like a wheeling cart. And I was like, wow, okay, so that's a card collection. That's when you go all in on a collection, and it takes up space. Case in point, the Colin Creasy Blu-ray library. That's a collection. Like my Calyx cube of Blu-rays is not really a collection. That's just a bin full of my favorite movies that I bought. The collection has to be substantial. So anyways, this is Pokédex. You know how I just think of Pokemon. When I think of Pokemon, I just associate it with Game Boy, like Game Boy Color. And the Game Boy, handheld format. This is handheld format, personal time management system that I'm using. GTD is, of course, Getting Things Done by David Allen, the classic productivity book that I read about 20 years ago. I read it after college. And I was like, whoa, these are awesome strategies I could have used while I was in college to actually get something done. Because the only way I got stuff done at all up to that point was just to wait till the last minute and then just do a sprint, pull an all-nighter just to get it done. Just, use the urgency of the deadline to fuel my fire and finish something. And the thing about that is the product actually comes out pretty good. Like when you're going intensely at something like that, you can come up with some good stuff. It's intense. You come up with intense. The sense of urgency creates intense types of art. But you also burn yourself out, and that's not sustainable. And you can come up with much better art, media, writing, whatever, by taking the slow approach, thinking things out, slowly synthesizing, chunking knowledge, allowing yourself to go down rabbit holes of your fascinations, knowing that you have a catalog of what else you have to think about, in your anti-net or in your notebook or whatever. I'm just going to assume my ideal viewer is one who already knows about the anti-net, basically card box storage methods. That's all. So I'm going to I'm going to generalize it to card box though when I talk about it. Just boxes of cards, because cards are a thing in themselves. Note cards, index cards are general, very general. And you can get as specific as you want with what you write. You can get as general or specific. This box is specifically chronological by date. See, here's yesterday. That was my morning, what I had to do that morning, and what PM was envisioning the wild success of what my day would look like. And I did have a pretty relaxed and engaging day. So I think writing it down helps. And on the back I had more detailed things, so I didn't have to keep it all in my head, like what do I have to do at 3 o'clock, what do I have to do at 12:30? In my head, I was like, okay, so that gives me like 2.5 hours. And then I have a mental index of all the things I needed to do that I was going to try to squeeze into that time frame. Just write it down on note cards. List of things that are on your mind, things that you need to do urgently, things that are urgent and important to do. First things first. And then it's like off your mind, but when you're driving by somewhere, you're like, oh, I have this on my list. I'll just stop into the auto zone and get, engine coolant. Like when you're not worrying about it, you can think about things when you need to. It's amazing how that works. And it does work. So today is Wednesday. I'm just going to make a card for Wednesday and Thursday because just a little while ago I thought up something to do on Thursday, And if I don't write it down, it's just going to be in my head. Every time I have every time I don't have I'm not doing something, I'll just be like, oh yeah, I need to remember to export my Twitch TV live stream to YouTube. What an insignificant piece of nothing that is. Who cares? That does not need to be taking up space in your brain, in your mind, your whatever you call it, your storage, your internal mind storage. Just write it down. And writing the ritual of writing things down on the card format and putting them in the card box is just like mental indexing, neuro imprinting mental index. And it's very effective. Export. Export Jerm's apartment. From Twitch TV to YouTube. Take that task, just a very simple task, scribbled with my bad handwriting. That actually I've noticed a change, like a somewhat of an improvement in my handwriting, or just I can write better if I am intentional about it, but it doesn't take as much effort to write well. I've got some letters where it's like, oh, I like to write this letter like this. And also I'm still working on making my V's look like V's instead of U's. So when I write my email address, people don't think my email address is JCUD, JCUD. I ain't no JCUD. It's JCVD. So I got to write my V's sharply. Not U. Wednesday. Nice thing about today is the only thing I have on my schedule is picking up the kids from school. And what's also nice about today is after dropping the kids off, let me start by saying what's amazing about today in the last 5 minutes of the stream, because it's almost 10 o'clock. What's amazing about today is Jeannie wasn't feeling well last night, so we decided we would have a morning, just a late morning, sleep-in morning if they needed it. Didn't set an alarm. But all three of us woke up like around between 6 and 6:30 on our own, feeling good. Ate breakfast and we're off to school, made it there on time, even though we did not set any alarms at all, just waking up naturally. So that's nice. And I attribute that to being back on standard time. Our body's just reconnecting to the natural rhythm of our lives without the tomfoolery of setting clocks an hour forward for 6 months out of the year. It's unnecessary. And this, to me, resuming standard time and immediately getting back into just the normal sleep cycle. We were ready to go to bed by 8:30. It was dark. It was dark by 6:30. We still took the dog for a walk in the dark. Short walk. Then we were ready for bed by 8:30 after watching this Super Brain show or some new Netflix show that the kids are into, like a science show, and Allie Ward is on it, so that's cool. Watched a couple episodes of that, went to bed promptly at 8:30. All woke up by 6:30, got solid 10 hours of sleep. Like we need. I think it's a Van Doren thing. Van Dorens have certain kinds of brains that need 10 full hours of sleep for a week be able to do a week or several days in a row of taxing things, or anything really. Van Dorens are also known to drink a lot of coffee. That's just one of those fun family stories that I can lean on. So I got to pick up the kids at school at the end of the day. I'm just scanning my brain, and I don't have anything else on. There isn't anything else coming to mind. It's just a blank slate in there, just a blank slate, which is nice. And I think that is really the desired and should be the expected outcome of spending months developing a routine and a ritual of systematically writing on note cards. So that was a plug. Slipped that one right in there at the end of the podcast. But yeah, so I'm not going to be streaming as much because I'm writing a lot. It needs to be done. I've got a good method. The thing I was going to say about getting things done is I have an inbox, an in tray, old black metal in tray. I took that to my office. Let me just show you. Right there, look at that. Right next to my PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4. This is on my office. I need to get a whiteboard or two up on this wall. That would be awesome. But what I have here, and I've already gone through that. For some reason in February, I just felt like I needed to write out a list of all my favorite college classes that I took, and that was actually very illuminating because it was a lot of the creative liberal arts stuff, and like the acting and the humanities and even the coding, all that was like, digital content producer, whatever, that's what my CV says to me when I look back at it. Like somebody who was studying to be like a digital producer before there were even these digital platforms. That's because I just wanted to be a TV producer. And now instead of TV, we have YouTube and Twitch. So what can you do? Anyways, this is the best life hack I've ever implemented. The, 20th, the office of the 1900s style inbox tray, like at my first job in the HR department of Miami-Dade. It was Miami-Dade Community College back then. Now it's Miami-Dade College. Good, hooray for them. Actually, it became Miami-Dade College while I was working there because they offered their first 4-year or like more than 2-year degree, which I think was nursing. Trivia fact from the early 2000s. So I worked in the HR department of Miami-Dade College, I would come into work and there would be an inbox that somebody else had put papers on for me to process. And I would sit at my desk, get one paper, see what it needed, maybe do something on the computer, maybe make a call, maybe ask my boss, do the thing, then go to the next one. Very systematic working. That's how office work was in the late 1900s. Even though we had computers, we weren't on our computers all day long. We weren't like this. Can't take my eyes off the frickin' screens, y'all. Fucking addicted. Pardon my French. I was going to try to keep it PG-13. Well, that is still PG-13. That was my one F word. But yeah, the coffee's kicking in. So I've got the inbox tray. I actually went to the office the last couple of days and I've already processed those papers. So it makes me happy to see that. The system works. I went through it and I took notes and placed the notes. Actually, so just because this page was chronological, this is just a chronological list of college courses that I really enjoyed that I wanted to remember and think more about. So one of my note boxes is for chronological memories and stuff. And I wrote a little bit more about these courses. And I even found I had to correct some things. I had some in the wrong order. I don't know if I misread my transcript or what, but it was a nice stroll down memory lane. Thinking back all the way to 1998 when I started dual enrolling at Miami-Dade Community College and going to the School for Advanced Studies program in Miami. I just got hit with a lot of reminiscence about it. So what's today? AM is work. Deep work? I'm going to say deep work. I'm going to commit to doing deep work today because deep work is just walking to Cohatch, going upstairs, unlocking my office, looking at the top sheet of paper on the inbox, thinking about it, writing notes about it, maybe note cards about it, filing any information that I need to keep from it, then throwing the paper away, processing one item off my inbox. And I just can go in there and spend a couple hours at a time doing that, and it feels really good. That feels like a good work. And every day I do that, I'm more motivated to get my thoughts on paper put together into a book so that my office can be my writing HQ, that I can go in there every day and work. Sometimes I work at home still. I still have my corner desk. So I was going through my, this is the material that I printed out. Jeez, come on, man. This is stuff that I printed out. Lecture slides from my master's program, and I was highlighting them in different colors, color coding, researching my own lecture slides to remember all the things I forgot about. That's where I'm at in my schooling life. Got an episode guide here. I produced an episode guide out of that AI program. There's a link to every single one, almost every single one, because this still only goes to October 4th. So there's a few more episodes technically in season 1, I think. And I've got a nice list of plot threads. You can see you can maybe have noticed that I've implemented a few, like saying Old Kentucky Avenue. I don't know if you caught that in my introduction because the music was playing pretty loud. Yeah, but this is wrapping up breakfast with Jerm. Look, this is what that looks like. Episode. This won't go away. I did promote my Patreon, and I did choose a layout. I wish you'd leave me alone. Oh yeah, let's take a look at my chili cheese fries stuffed corral from about 3 weeks ago. There was a lot of stuff on here. Hey, I can't. Oh, I'm looking at the editor dashboard. Never mind. Yeah, I think I've got enough on my plate. I'm going to go to the office and look at papers and write down my thoughts about them. Tomorrow I'm going to export Jerm's apartment from Twitch TV to YouTube. And I'm going to pick up my kids when school gets out. I can handle that. I've got the energy for that. And then some. But getting to this point was a lot of work to focus and simplify down. And it's still a lot of work before I see any fruit of my labor in the form of cash monies. But I'm getting there, and I'm not going to give up. My next goal is to get 20 followers on Twitch TV. So subscribe to me on Twitch. There's a link in the comments below this video. Like and subscribe to me on YouTube too. I'm gonna get some links and some stuff up on. No! Neonowl net is down. I did not know that. See that I gotta. Hey Sheila. Hey, everything's okay. My very first website, neonowl.net, is not even up and running anymore because of a SSL certificate issue. So, I'm going to put that on my list, my reminder list. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reminders. Neonowl.net is down. And then I have a research question. That's the reason I sat down here. It wasn't to do breakfast streaming at all. It was to see if there's a way to automatically have Patreon post to Facebook, because then I'll just use Patreon to publish my online contents, my online contentment. I will post my online contentment on Patreon. It'll automatically publish to YouTube. It'll automatically publish to Facebook, so people can start following me. Same thing with YouTube and just YouTube. Patreon and YouTube, or maybe I can have YouTube automatically publish to Patreon, and then everything on Patreon automatically publish to Facebook. I like that. And then I won't directly be using Facebook anymore at all, unless I need to check and see if there's a change in the Little League Baseball schedule. Or if I want to look at a page or a group created by a local organization, which I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they would use literally anything else other than Facebook. Nobody needs those tools. There are other ways to do it that are better, but it is what it is, and I'm moving on. I logged into Facebook and I said something about fascists. I made an observation about what I think fascism is in the modern era, but I'm not going to do political stuff anymore unless it's hilarious satire. It's got to be hilarious. So that will be very few and far between, because I don't have hilarious satire thoughts, because I usually don't even think about the socio-political landscape if I can help it. I've got my boundaries and my shields up, shields to maximum, shields to full in this enterprise. I've got my shields set to full on this enterprise. Call me Captain Picard. And I'm going to engage with some other stuff. And I want it to flow. I want the information that I put online to flow in a way that people want to look forward to seeing it, not be like, oh, is Jeremy on here ranting? Or just, have me muted. It's all a river. I got to remember it's all a river. And the river, what you put in the river is what goes in the river. So don't throw trash in the river. TRASH is an acronym, by the way. It stands for tension, resistance, anxiety, stress, and hostility. I came up with that. I think it's pretty good to remind myself what trash talk online is like and how to avoid doing it or how to avoid engaging with it. Because I need to use my energy, my limited energy and mental resilience, my HP, my energy and my HP. Need to save it for writing on note cards, assembling, organizing ideas, either dictating or typing out pages of a book, typesetting it, publishing it, marketing it and selling it, getting into new conversations based on the contents of it, growing that way. That's where I'm going. That's my Jacob's ladder. I'm climbing. I'm not messing with anything outside of that. I have a my grid, my solve it grid, the grid of what I engage with, called the solve it in Your Brain's Not Broken by Tamara Rosier. She calls it a solve it grid for stuff that it's on the axis of what's fun and stimulating. There's not fun and not stimulating. There's not fun and stimulating. There's fun but not stimulating, like a lazy river or video games. And then there's fun and stimulating, like going to a party or going out to dinner with a few of your closest friends, that sort of thing. So yeah, my grid is pretty small in that regard of what I do, what I enjoy, what I have energy and motivation for. I have to share this. I've been mulling over how to um, come up with do something else instead of what David Allen calls a tickler file, because I hate that phrase and that word and the action of being tickled, act of being tickled. Mikey's in a phase where he thinks it's funny to tickle people, even though he doesn't like being tickled. So anyone other than my 5-year-old tickling me is not, I don't want to entertain any context outside of my 5-year-old who thinks it's funny to tickle people right now, but he knows that not everybody likes it because he doesn't like it. So he asks first is the point. Anyways. And it's kind of funny when a kid walks up and he's like, "Excuse me, can I tickle your armpit?" Kids these days, they're great. They're actually really awesome and funny and kind. Understanding of boundaries. So anyways, this concept of the tickler file, or it's also called the bring forward file, or the follow-up file. It involves folders, a series of folders for days, a year. It's a rotating year, folders for the next year, rotation. So you always can go to the exact day, whether it's today or in the future. You can put things in the right folder to tickle your attention, to get your attention on that day. But it got pretty popular online. There's 43 folders, Merlin Mann, productivity systems and other gurus are out there, because you use 43 folders for the 12 months and the 30 days, and that's how you keep the system going. But anyways, it's cumbersome. It doesn't really work. I would love to find somebody who actually has used it. I think you would have to be like paying an administrative assistant to use that system. And it would only be worth it if you really have a lot of 8.5 by 11 size printouts or pages of stuff that you need to refer to every day. Like, are you going to have a 10-page agenda for your meeting in 2 weeks? Okay, maybe you need 43 folders, or you need a folder system in a filing cabinet. But I have replaced that entire system with just the timeline approach, thinking like a video editor. You have the time, when you're editing a video non-linearly, your timeline is on one point, but there's stuff ahead of that and behind that usually. And it's arbitrary. It's not arbitrary, but you can work on the today slice without having to change the disturb the future stuff, whatever. It's a sequence, but in editing you can make the sequence whatever you want it to be. A timeline in real life is a simple linear sequence of time. So I know that today, Wednesday, November 5th at 10:23 a.m., I know what that time represents to me. That means now, that's now. If I want to know what I'm supposed to be if there's something I need to be doing or thinking about now, I go to my note box. The first thing in there is timeline. So if I've been thinking ahead, what do I need to do tomorrow, the day after that, the next month, blah, blah, blah. I write that, date that, put that in a timeline. But when I need to know what I need to do now, it doesn't matter that, the timeline is not important. I just skip past that, go straight to today. I have a tab for today, and the card in front of today is what I need to do today. So, yeah, timeline, just a timeline, a series of cards in chronological order in a note box is way more efficient and effective than a filing cabinet with dated folders that you have to go in, open up, move the folders around in a different order, get stuff in, out of them, put stuff into them. For a single person dealing with single thoughts, or you have one person can have a lot of thoughts, but you don't need to have a complicated system to organize it. And I tried the 43 folders method. You can read more about that online. I'm sure there's YouTube videos of it all over the place. I've tried it at several points in my life and it's never worked. So the timeline system in the GTD notebox is kicking its ass, I must say. What is that like? I think that's a Saturday Night Live reference to something that I saw as a young child. But I've also seen other people going online being like, oh, I must say. It's like a trending phrase right now. So anyways, I've got the today for today, and then in my GTD, for the official getting things done section, I've got projects. A project is just a projected outcome. So when you think of a project, just think of your desired outcome, your projected outcome, and what's one thing you can do to move towards that. That's all you need from that's all projects are good for. Anything else involving project management, unless you really are going to lose time and money by having a disorganized project, like, if you're our organization or whatever, if you're an group of engineers, go nuts with your project management. If you're one person, all you need is a note card. Have one label projects. Label your note card projects. You can write down on here, a project is a projected outcome. Your project card only needs to have your outcome and the next action or the series of actions to get you closer to that outcome. That is Notebox project management for one, baby. So, and behind the project tab is the reference tab, which is past projects and things you've learned. This is all stuff that has not been filed in my Antinet Zettelkasten yet, my big notebox system. These are just like little reference cards relating to projects I am doing next or that I just did. And that's all I have time to show today because I'm at about an hour. It's good to talk, good to get it off my chest, good to think out loud. And I love to share what I've been working on. I get kind of excited about it once I get going. I've dropped some frames on this video. Don't know what that means. Got a bad Wi-Fi connection here. But I'm about to take off, so here is the outro music.